Okay, hey, welcome you guys and gals to the BYP videos. Um, a human chess computer before his time. I have got a terrific game to show you tonight between two veterans of the chess wars in the post World War One up to the World War II era. Now, this was an exhibition game between Alexander Alekhine and Efim Gabaljubov. And Bog is playing the black, Alekhine is playing the white. Now, this was an exhibition game. This wasn't any kind of a championship game or anything like this. They were just playing good chess to instruct and entertain the crowd, right? Alekhine is so masterful in this game. Now, I try hard to, oh, and by the way, welcome to you new subscribers and you new video viewers of my videos. I appreciate your support and your interest, and I work hard at bringing really good games to you that help us learn the fundamentals, even though these guys are miles ahead of us in grandmaster status. They never forget the fundamentals, and that's what's so important. The fundamentals work whether you're beginning, intermediate, or master, or grandmaster, and that shows in this game. Wonderful stuff. So let's get started. Alex is playing the white. We're going to have a Catalan system. This was in Warsaw, 1943, mind you. So I've got to take off my glasses so I can see this clearly. We're going to have a Catalan, d4, d5, c4, e6. So here we go. e6, knight f3, and knight f6, bringing up the troops. g3. So Alekhine's going to fianchetto the bishop. I like games with the fianchettoed bishops. For whatever reason, they just have more energy. Alekhine was never one to let this fianchettoed bishop get stymied by pawns in the center. He always brought about the way to get that little baby out there at influential. D takes C, queen to A4, bringing out the queen check, regaining the pawn with the queen, not messing up his pawn structure. Bog does something interesting. Queen D7. Now, Alekhine, of course, is going to go ahead and swap the pawn. Yeah. Queen takes c4, and now queen comes to c6. And Alekhine makes a note of this. He says, okay, it's true. Bog wants to exchange queens. Okay, so this is going to happen, right? But it's not going to solve his main problem in this game, and that is the development of his queen bishop, the light squared bishop, because it is the bad bishop thanks to e3. And Alekhine mentions this a couple of times in this game, so this must be an important point. And we will see the effect of that. So let's see what happens now. It's really cool. He can see Bog is determined. I'm going to trade queens with you, cowboy. So notice the slick way that Alekhine trades the queens. Does he take? No, he does not. If your opponent is wanting to exchange pieces, sometimes they'll try to exchange the fianchettoed bishop, etc. Don't you initiate the exchange. Let your opponent exchange. But watch what Alekhine does. A nifty little move he develops with tempo for the exchange. Bog will take c4, and now the knight will take c4, and now Bog brings the surprise. Bishop b4. Do you resign at this point? No, it's not a big deal, because developing with tempo, hitting the bishop, always a good thing. Bishop takes d2, and now Alekhine will retake with the knight instead of moving the king so that he can castle the king, correct? And now knight will come to c6. Let's bring forward the troops, definitely. And now it's time to fianchetto. Get ready to castle. You've got to get ready to castle. Develop your bishop here so that Bog has the option of castling either direction. Alekhine has the option of castling either direction. Now, this is what is so important to notice. Look how fast they threw out their entire armies. We're on move 12. In 12 moves, everything's out except the rooks, right? Alekhine will castle kingside. Bog chooses the queen side. So, you know, we're going to get a battle royale. Alekhine's going to go after the king on the queen side. Bog is going to go after the king on the king side. Let's see who gets there first is the essence of the issue. Observe 2. The next thing is the queens are up and off the board. So that means the rooks are connected. All of your pieces are out. They're developed. Do you begin the attack? Not yet. You've got to get your heavy pieces in here. Get the big boys. And what's he grab? The file. Absolutely, the partial open file. Rook H to E8. Now it's a development, but it's not an open file, right? Could be interesting. Knight immediately comes right back up to C4. Better placement, much more power. Forward and toward the center. We've seen this in many games. You know, it's almost as if I keep repeating the same thing in every chess video I make because I keep repeating the same thing in every video I make of the winners. So it's not like I'm attempting to bore you. Oh, yeah, it's him again. He'll just say the same old thing. Lucky you, I do. Because it's the same old thing winners do over and over and over and over again. That's how we improve the chess. I'm not trying to bore you. I promise I'm not trying to bore you. But let's see the pattern. The development toward the center and getting your power. Look, all of the chess pieces together combined exert fantastic power when they're here. So that's where we go. Makes sense? It makes sense, right? So knight C4. And what else does this very important third move of this knight determine? Look at the square the knight is hitting. E5. Look at the square the single pawn is hitting. E5. Why? Because there ain't no way, and Alekhine makes a big deal about this right here in the note. He says, there ain't no way yo mama gonna push this pawn here. Not happening. Not on my watch. No. Because, you see, it activates that powerful queen bishop, the bad bishop. He wants that bishop to stay bad. Observe again another interesting issue, because he does prevent the expansion of this pawn, is it's cramped. Nothing's past the third row in Bog's position, is it? And he's kind of tight packed like sardines in a can. Observe the space advantage of Alekhine. That's significant. So I'm just pointing that out. Rook E7, A3. Bishop E8. You notice the rearrangement doesn't accomplish a lot. because he's so cramped. Just observe that. Very important. Rook F to D1. In the meantime, Alekhine is making serious, significant progress. Remember, you say, come on, dude. A3 is not significant, serious progress. It's on the queen side. And it is beginning the build up to attack the queen side. So it is part of the plan. Fascinating how he did this. I'm just saying. I mean it. So now knight d5. Let's centralize the knights, shall we? That's not bad. That's not bad. And here we go. Observe, it takes away the b5 square from either one of those knights. He is limiting the activity of those black knights to over there. You can't play in my sandbox. You go over there to your own. This is a significant limit, a limitator, a terminator. He terminates the square that these guys can come over to protect that king. That's huge. That's huge. No sooner than I make a big whoop-de-doo about that than Bog refutes me. Drat. Foiled again. Or am I? Let's keep watching. This is fun stuff, you guys. Kablam. Get him. See, your king's over here, and you've got pawns that you can use as missiles, and that's what he's doing. The cool thing is he has pieces backing the pawns. Always. I know, I say that every game, right? Watch who wins this. Pieces behind the pawns when you throw them up. You're boring us, BYP. You've told us this in at least the previous 30 videos. Watch who wins, and you'll learn why I keep saying it. We're seeing a beautiful pattern. Really beautiful. So, well, knight b8. There you go. All that effort to develop the knight, and now he goes back home. Knight takes b6. So it is true this knight has made several moves. So are you losing tempo in exchanging it? No, you are not. Why? Why? Check. A forcing move. How are you going to take it? One of the pawns protecting the king. What does that mean? That means weaknesses around the king begin to show. What does that mean? That means white has a better chance to win. The attacking player who usually wins weakens the king side pawn structure in front of the king first by pawns and sacrificing pieces or exchanging the guardian pieces. You say that every video, BYP. I do. And it happens in every game I play with the winner. And there's the key. That's why it's worth repeating. Okay, now I'm getting preachy. I don't mean to, but it's just so exciting to be able to see that drumbeat of the same principle to get you to win. So we do it in our games. That's the point. Otherwise, I'm wasting your time with these videos. So fun stuff. I love watching Alekhine. Alekhine is beyond incredible. He just thrills me out of my gourd. Okay, so you pushed the B pawn, la-ti-da. You're not done yet. You got another one. Chuck that squirt up there. Let's go. Let's go. On guard, buddy. So f6. So Bog didn't get the e5 pushed. And he did push his bishop back so he can relocate it and come out on that diagonal. Okay. So, and this is an important lesson. If for whatever reason you're playing a player that is so much better than you, and he really does stymie you this way, find another method away, because you really do have to get your pieces developed. So yeah, he's a little bit behind, but look at how he's trying to get it going. This is good. That's what you do want to do. I'm just saying. I'm not just criticizing Bog. I'm saying there's some good things here too. Bishop h3. Pinning that central pawn to the king. This could get serious, because now Alekhine going to advance his own D pawn in a discovered check. And look where the D pawn is going. Kablam. Hitting that weak pawn right there. Yikes. This is tough stuff. A terrific setup for tactics. So now Bog is forced to come back and defend the pawn. He's not going to get that bishop developed. In other words, he's playing more or less without its services and without its power. And now knight d2. And this is decisive. And the reason why is, I don't know if you can see it from here or not, but I'm going to show this to you. Hopefully I'll be able to rearrange the board back. This just shocked me. This is how insightful Alekhine is. Knight d2. If he does push this e5 so that he can exchange the bishops, because this bishop is a dangerous bishop, Bog would do very, very well to trade it off, because he can't get his own bishop into this game. And that's a good strategy. If you can't get one of your pieces activated, try to trade him off for one of your opponent's very active pieces. That's good chess. Sincerely. So if he would have done that, then Alekhine says, knight c4 was my response. And now the threat is checkmate. A smothered checkmate. Fantastic, man. So this is not going to work for him to push that e5. He is still preventing the push of e5, which is exquisite. So knight d2, and now rook comes to f8. He's going to have to move his rook to give his king room, because he recognizes that smothered mate coming up. The potential, right? And now Alekhine, he keeps giving Bog various types of threats. Bishop g2. Again, I just want to notice, just like I said at the front of the game, the cool thing about fianchettoed bishops is they add an energy to the game if you can keep the central diagonals open. Look how well Alekhine has done that. He was a master at that. There's no pawn chain of black pawns here stifling this bishop. Man, he goes all the way over to the king. And if he comes this way, he goes right through the center, right at the king. It doesn't matter. This stays open for Alekhine. Isn't that interesting? Just a hint. That's how to treat your fianchetto bishops. In other words, you have to learn how to fight for the center to keep it open. Keep the pawns out of the center, and that means exchanging either pieces or pawns, right? So this is fun stuff, man. This is really cool. Rook f8 to give him breathing room, then back down to bishop g2, and now c6. This is too strong. He can't let him open it up with the pawns. He's attacking him from two sides, right? You can't take it on two sides. So he chooses this side, and once again that theme, knight to c4. Here we go again. Centralize and use that knight. And now king to c7. He's going to come up so that the knight can't come to here. Look at that hole. Did you notice that? The pawns are already passed, and that means that one and that one and that one are weak squares, and that one, as far as that goes. Look at that hole. I mean, that kills it. That just wipes you completely out. And how could he get rid of that knight? He's not even exchangeable, right? That permanently mars your game. So this is forced. King 7. And it's always good when Alekhine can make the king hold a weak square, because the king can be chased away. And now, yes, sir, e4. Now look who gets to march the central pawns. Observe the side pawns were coming up, which helped him exchange knights, move the knights back into an awkward position, and then exchange the knights and mess up his pawns. And he pressed the pawns forward, and now he can move into the center theater and do the same thing, push the pawns. That's significant strategy. It's very, very cool to observe that. C will take b5. So I think Bog has gotten out of the smothered checkmate idea here, but this is pure desperation, and he shows why. Because now A takes b5. And I have said this in a few games, and now I will show it in this one. It's really important to see the cumulative effect of what I show you in the chess games. I've said before, the doubled pawns are a weakness because they don't have any pawns on either side of them. Oh, hold on, my heater. God, gummit, I forgot. Now I have to speak a little louder. Woohoo! I apologize for that interruption. Doggone it. These are weak pawns because they don't have pawns on the side to protect them. That's not a weak pawn because he's got a pawn to the side to protect him, correct? These two don't, so that makes them weak. They don't get to support each other. But if you can advance those pawns, they're not a weakness. In this instance, Alekhine has blockaded them with another pawn. A pawn's good. A knight is just as good of a blockader of doubled up pawns, but those pawns can't move. So they're kind of in the way. They actually don't technically protect the king either, do they? So now we see the double pawns as a weakness. It's fun to see that. Finally, I found a game where I can show you that. So anyway, now the bishop will take b5. Hey, the queen bishop finally got out and did something heroic. He got rid of the blockader of those doubled up pawns. That's really cool. It is. However, the side pawns have been thwarted after doing their job. Your game isn't lost. Now shift to your central pawns and use them as further battering rams to get to the king through the center. This is great chess. Oh, good. Now I can lighten my voice a little bit. The heater went off. This is fantastic chess. Observe something remarkable. There's only one piece up in the territory of Bog. Everything Alekhine has been throwing up there has almost been pawns. And yet Technically not true because he does have the pieces backing up the pawn. So they are very much being used, but observe the discovered check Alekhine has. Again, another powerful tactic against the black king. He moves the knight and it's check. So that knight can do serious damage if it's put in the right place. E will finally, he never could advance that E pawn, but he can take a pawn. Okay, so E takes D5. Do you retake? No, because you have a better move. Now, it's not like it's a bad move. You can retake. Understand, though, you open up the file for the black rook. Yeah. So you got to pay attention to the consequences. As you look at the position, you got an easy way to double the rooks. And you might be inviting trouble. So double think before you open a file for your opponent. But there really is genuinely a better move anyway. And that is simply knight A3 check. Hitting the bishop with the knight, checking with the rook. Discovered checks, according to Artur Yusupov in his chess system, are some of the most powerful tactics you can use. Try to incorporate them. They're fun to do. They really are. Knight A3 check. However, in this instance, Bog finds the move. Yeah, just bump the bishop back. You don't have to lose the bishop. Put it in the way. However, recognizing now that the bishop is pinned to the king by the white rook. So that's important. Now E takes D5. What do you do with a pinned piece? You attack it because then you can take it. So it does open up the file for the black rook, but it pins the bishop and it will fall. So it is an evil that you opened up the file for the opponent, but it is a very, very good blessing that you win a piece. Overruling the problem of the open file is winning the piece. So here we go. Rook D7. Hey, look at this. So Bog puts a pin on the pawn that has an attack on the pinned bishop, and he'll lose his rook. Is Bog-Aljamov's pin as powerful as Alekhine's pin? No. Because the pin with Alekhine involves the king. And technically, Bog, even though Alekhine takes the bishop, if and when, Bog would win a rook, but it's just an exchange because the rook is covered. So it's not actually winning a piece. In Alekhine's case, it is a direct win of a piece. It's kind of fun to see the difference. There are different strengths to pins, and this is a great illustration of that. Knight to B5, check. Another important lesson, and I'm going to take my time and emphasize, I promise I'm not trying to talk down to you. You all are way better than I am. I'm not trying to talk down to you, but this is a great exercise. You have him where you want him, man. Take advantage of it. Lasker, 27 years, as the world champion said, when you find a good move, sit on your hands and look for a better one. Okay, there's no question this is a good move. Seriously. However, you will have a rook exchanged, and having two rooks opposing the king and the file next to the king when the file on this side is blocked off so the king cannot escape is not something you want to give up lightly. So I don't know if I would want to exchange the rooks. That might not be so hot. Bring another piece into the attack. It's more enjoyable. It is without question more powerful to have more pieces attacking the king than less. It helps assure your win. Therefore, kablam, he's safe because the bishop is pinned. Check. I love how Alekhine played chess. King d8. D takes c6, of course. Okay, see? The bishop fell because it was pinned and it was attacked. Now look. The rook is pinned to the king. Now, I get it. It's a rook. So opposing the rooks, but he's also attacked. He can get out of this pin temporarily. B takes c6. There, he got rid of the attack on the pinned piece, and he in turn attacks the knight. Very cool. Until Alekhine did this. And it's here that Bog resigned. So from a strategic point of view, this is an exquisite game. And that's why I wanted to show it to you. It wasn't overly super complicated. They did do actually the tactics weren't all that spectacular, super duper gaudy, wild 6-move involved tactics. They were just short, succinct, and right to the point. And that's what helps make this game so powerful. So there is your Backyard Professor chess game. I appreciate you watching me. I appreciate your support. I do have about 1 trillion more chess games I'm looking forward to sharing with you in the up and coming years. I am on a rock and roll, baby. I believe this is episode 41 in just the last month and a half or so. So we're on a roll. I've got my momentum. I'm not going to quit. We're enjoying the board. I'm getting some people who say they are enjoying the electronic materials as well, which I will do. This will be my main basis and focus, however, because it's just so much fun to learn how to win. However, I've got bad news for you, and this is my lesson. This is for me. I hate to lose. It hurts. And so what on earth, you idiot, did you pick chess for? Because the only way you're going to learn how to win in chess is lose thousands of games. Can my ego take it? That's the question, right? So that's what we're facing. I'm just showing you it's possible to play exceptionally good chess anyway, and that's what we're after. And to have a boatload of fun together. So I appreciate you, my audience. I appreciate all you new people who are watching, both the ladies and the men, the boys and the girls. Welcome to my channel. I appreciate your support and love and interest, and I will continue to provide a steady stream of pure chess goodness for all of you. In the meantime, remember, have fun, do well, be good, smile a lot, and make lots of friends. Life is good when you have friends. So just some friendly advice. I'm just saying.